Hey everybody, we're here for a new episode of Tier List Land on RLG Cast. Today we're talking the Transformers movies, all the movies. I'm here with JD, 777. Check out his channel. You want to see wrestling stuff, you want to see some gaming stuff. We do a little bit. We
A
used to
little
do a
bit of
lot
this, a
before. A
little bit of that.
little bit of this, a little bit of that. Check out Putty's channel. He couldn't make it. We're going to be doing the 4:30 movie, the new Kevin Smith movie with him next week. If you haven't seen the Transformers review, check it out. It's on the channel. I'll put a link to it in the description.
Watch that first before you watch this.
Yeah, Transformers
So you have
1.
some, yeah, so you have some context.
All right, let's just jump into Tier List Land.
There we are.
All right, so we have all the tiers S, A, B,
hmm
C, D, F. We're going with the rule one in S, one in F. We're going to stick by that.
All right.
Let's
Let
start
us
it off.
start. 1986, the movie that started it all, a new toy line. This movie was made because Hasbro wanted to launch new toys and they didn't want to sell the old toys anymore, so they killed off everybody.
So this is the end of G1,
Nope. This is the halfway point to G1.
but once they kill them off, don't they introduce everyone new?
They introduced new characters, but still
It's
technically
still
G1.
G1 before they
Yeah.
went to that new Transformers series.
Yeah.
What was that called? Was it called like Extreme Transformers or something?
Or
was it just
Energon or something. There was a continuation of that in Japan that never aired in North America.
That's true. That's maybe what I'm thinking of there.
Yeah.
Okay. I like this movie. I don't have a strong um love for Transformers or G.I. Joe, but I do like both of the animated movies.
hmm
I always watched them a lot as a kid. And
I
I
think this
do
needs to go in A.
I do appreciate what they did. The killing off of the characters, I think,
hmm
is adds a thing something that we weren't expecting.
Yeah.
So
The first cartoon movie I watched that had a swear word in it.
yeah, I think at least for now, we could say A.
Yeah. Okay. Done.
And we're going to be ranking these based on their relative score against each other, not
Yeah.
on how we would score them, because there might be more A's than we want, but
But it
based
may
on
not.
like their
Yeah.
balance, we're going to separate them in categories. And I
All
think
right.
what we've been doing lately on importance,
Yeah.
that movie belongs in A.
I agree. Let us go to the first Michael Bay film, just simply titled Transformers. And hard to believe that this movie was already 14 years ago now? Almost 20 years now.
This is at the peak of Shia LaBeouf.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just do it.
gave us Megan Fox.
Yeah.
I think this movie impressed everybody, and it still holds up. The 4K version looks really good. It's a pretty good movie. It's not great.
Hugo Weaving as Megatron, I really enjoyed.
I would say this is a B,
Yeah.
based on the way that we're ranking them. Because score-wise, I would say it's maybe similar to the original animated movie. But I think based on the way we're ranking them, I think this makes sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. It was a decent movie. This one is Revenge of the Fallen. This is the continuation. Basically, all these movies are continuations of these films. I think this is the one where they introduced Sentinel Prime in it.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can look at all of these movies as one package, because even in the animated movie, the original one, they all die.
Yes.
But the way that we meet them in the Transformers first movie, like you could say Transformers 1 is a lead up and then it ends in the original Transformers movie, and then they somehow end up on Earth and get repowered. They come back to life.
Yeah.
Kind of. You know what I mean? They've been kicked off Cybertron and now they've come back to life on Earth somehow. Maybe there's a Megatron or a what's it called? The power source?
Energon.
There's an Energon power source on Earth that they talk about, and maybe they came back to life that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So you can
that
kind
makes
of watch
sense.
this all as one story. I enjoy this movie from an entertainment aspect, but I don't think it's very good. I don't know if I want to put it in D, but it's either C or D.
I'll put it in C because it was okay, but after watching the first one, this kind of felt like a letdown.
For sure. And it's not that good. I'm not going to pretend it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Next one, Transformers Dark of the Moon. I just watched this movie once and I never wanted to watch it again.
So I might be differ on you with this. I think the first half of this movie is arguably the best Transformers movie. I love the mystery aspect. I love that everything's happening and he's trying to survive. They talk about him moving on from the Megan Fox character. They introduce a lot of new characters, the government agency working with them, blah, blah, blah. but I think the second half is just big mishmash, big blank things fighting for too long, and the fight scenes are good, but it just goes way too long. It's like a wrestling match that just never
Yeah.
ends.
It's Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns.
I'm torn here, and I'll let you decide, but I almost think it's better than the second movie, but I would understand someone
So
thinking that it's
the
worse.
first half is better than the second movie, but the second half, like you said, peters off. But I'm good with putting it slightly ahead, if you're okay with
I
that.
can live with that.
Okay. Uh, the Age of Extinction, where they introduced the Dinobots to the film franchise.
So this is the Mark Wahlberg.
Yes.
Wait, is this Age of Extinction? What's the next one called?
The Last Night.
Oh, there you go. So
But this is the Mark Wahlberg one.
I
Yes.
think that there was some really good human elements in this one. I think they actually kind of nailed the human
Hmm.
aspect. Not that the acting or the writing is great, but the idea of where they were what they were doing with it made
Yeah.
sense. And the protecting of the Autobots and the way that they tell the story in the sense that like they've kind of been gone for a while and now they need to come back, but they can't because the
Yeah.
humans are against them after what happened. They destroyed so much, blah blah blah. It almost felt like a reboot, but it wasn't. It's like a soft reboot.
And Kelsey
And
Grammer, I really enjoyed as the villain.
I still think it's a D,
Yeah.
but it's not unwatchable. It has high entertainment value. They did some things right, but they couldn't nail everything.
Yeah. I agree with that. The idea was there and the idea was good, but the execution was very poor. This one is the Last Night. This is
This
the one where they
movie is
is the
Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins is in this movie.
yes.
This movie sucks. It's so
Yes.
bad. It's borderline unwatchable. And for me, this is my
This is
choice
like
for
the
F.
time this is the time travel one, right? With
Yeah, with the
Merlin
dinosaur
and the
robots
wizards. Yeah.
and the wizards. Like this is my F.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Sorry.
It's almost unwatchable.
Yeah.
And like as much as I want to say that Transformers 3 kind of falls apart, Transformers 2 is kind of just a mess, a silly mess.
Yeah.
The one with Mark Wahlberg is like a weird kind of movie with those some
Like
things
a
work.
soft reboot.
All of
Yeah.
them are good enough. But this movie is bad, like
Yeah.
special bad. This is like Zack Snyder and Michael Bay had a baby.
It was so bad that I almost didn't watch what's probably one of the best movies in the franchise. It took me a year to watch this one after it came out because I was so like I'm not going to watch any more of these. So we'll go on to the next one, which is Bumblebee. This one's my favorite.
This is my favorite as well. I think Haley Steinfeld is so good
Hmm.
in it and the best human element we've ever had in a movie,
Yes.
ever. And it works so well.
The connection between Bumblebee and Haley's
Exactly.
character, like
And it's
it's
lower stakes, but it's more meaningful in that sense. And the
yeah.
fact that it took a lower tier Autobot to have to overcome all of these things to get that, I think John Cena was pretty good in this movie.
Yeah.
Um, to me, this is S.
Yeah. I think this is our S tier.
I don't think we've ever agreed on anything this much. This is a little bit scary.
Yeah, we needed Putty to just say, no, this movie was shit.
But I don't think Putty would disagree with any of this.
No.
Um, okay.
This one is Rise of the Beasts. I really enjoyed this one
I
too.
also really enjoyed this one. I think it was a fun movie.
Hmm.
It has that elements that Bumblebee had where it was better in terms of like why you're the reason you care about what's
Hmm.
happening. It does get a bit muddled. There's an over introduction of characters. There's a slight bit of Michael
Yeah.
Bay like racism type with like the characters that we get, but they're very like I do
Yeah.
think it's a highly watchable movie. I don't want to put it in A. I think it's above the
It's a
first
s
Transformers movie.
I was gonna agree with you with a solid B. Solid B.
I think so, and it's highly watchable. It's very
Yeah.
enjoyable, and it gave us hope. Like you're coming now two Transformers movies in a row that were like
That
okay,
were yeah.
and then we get this,
Yeah.
and I think
So
unanimously this should be behind the original Transformers movie.
yeah, it's
Um,
right up there with it.
Transformers One is a really good experience. It's fun. It's a little bit rushed. There's
Yeah.
the motivations are
A
a
little
bit
too
muddled.
quick. I think the original animated film has a longer running time than this one.
And the thing is, the shock factor of the original, to me, makes it slightly better. And it's also more important. If I was really ranking this, though, just ranking, I think I'd put the animated series movie behind the first Transformers movie on like a ranking of like real scoring it.
Yes, in terms of like actual films.
But like for what it means and everything, I think that's a perfect spot for it. I think Transformers 1 is like as close as you can get to that, but it's a little bit on the children's-ish end because like the first Transformers movie, from going from watching the animated series to watching that, you're like, what is this? There's violent blood. I mean, not blood, but like swearing. There's so much death. You're just like, what is happening?
Like, there's one scene from the
There's
first
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles. Like, I mean, the cast in the original Transformers film was phenomenal. You had Eric Idle, you had Leonard Nimoy, Judd Nelson, Orson Welles. Like,
you had peak Judd Nelson.
Yeah. Now let's go into town and cornhole us a drunk.
But I really like this list. I think this is maybe the most cohesive tier list we ever did. You can argue to drop one of the C tier ones down to D, but I won't because I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I kind of like this. Because even this movie is still not as bad as this.
Yeah. I would say 4 out of those top 5 movies are like 7, 7.1, 7.2. That's where they live.
Yeah.
The animated series is maybe like a 6.9, but it's still like, to me, is in there.
Yeah.
Those other 2 are like mid 6s, low 6s.
Yeah.
Then the other one's like a high 5, and then that one's like just a 1.
Yeah. And this one is probably about a 7-8 to an 8.
It's just that for me, that one's just slightly above the other 4 below it.
Yeah.
Like a 0.1 ahead. But I think because the stakes are low, but I think it does.
The expectation was low on this one too.
Yeah, and it works. I think Haley Steinfeld, this is like one of the things that helped really put her into the mainstream. And she's a great actress, and I love to see more from her. I'm glad she's going to start doing stuff. She hasn't made a movie in a while.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen her since Kate Bishop. Oh, yeah, Spider-Verse. But I mean, physically.
Yeah, Kate Bishop.
Right? So this was a while ago, too.
Anyways, that's it.
It was this movie, too, that we saw that was like, okay, Haley Steinfeld would make a great Kate Bishop.
That's true, actually. No BS. She's also a really good Spider-Gwen, so I won't say shit about that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the list. Let us know what you guys think in the comment. Check out his channel. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and peace out.